So what did that transition look like for you, though? Was it, okay, I'm going to refresh what I have going on. I'm going to think of a way to be innovative. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to step outside the box. Like, what did you decide to do in that moment? You made the observation, and then you're like, girl, stop playing. What's next?
Yeah. So it was the ending of my relationship, I would say, that really accelerated that.
Girl, that will get your stuff together. Okay.
Right? You like, we'll
get you right together. Yes.
Yeah. So it was a 7-year relationship and ended like November 2020. And that is when I had to ask myself the question of who am I? Mm-hmm. Who am I without this relationship? And who am I without this business? Because for so long, I identified as partner of, wife of, or Course from Scratch, Danielle Leslie, owner of. So 2021, that was the year of who am I? And it was the year of let me be free. Let me be like the I am. And we're going to see what's popping from moment to moment. So it was really that shook things up for me and had me take a look at, wait a minute, you've been on this path being defined by this thing you've been building for so long. It was kind of like how from the age of 3, according to my mom, all the way up to 17, I kept saying I wanted to be an obstetrician. I kept saying I wanted to be a doctor, an OB. And the only reason I kept saying I wanted to be an OB is because I was saying I wanted to be an OB. Like, that was it. Yeah. So I realized, I was like, hold on. We have the ability to create who we are next and what we're doing and how we even reinvent CFS, Course from Scratch, how we reinvent the community, how we reinvent ourselves. So that's what really accelerated it.
So one of the growing pains that I don't feel like we talk about enough is the team that it takes to be able to do all of the things. Something even further that we don't talk about is what happens when you are the leader of this team and you become the observer. You decide it's time for something to change. My North Star, I got a new North Star. How does that affect the ship? What was that? Was there a conversation? Was there something that affected people? Or was it just like, I have a new guiding light?
Yeah, it was actually incredible because right before my breakup happened, I changed my North Star from revenue to how can I work 10 hours a week? And I was able to get it down from, because I was in hustle mode. Even though we had the money, like it was automated, but still I was finding things to do. So I went from the full time work hours and reduced it to about 10 hours in a few months. And so when I did that, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then the breakup happened, and I remember reaching out to my team, and I was like, hey y'all, this happened. I'm gonna need a little bit of support. I'm not going to I won't be on some of the team meetings. Can you step in for me? Without any hesitation, they were like, bet, got it. So my team, this leadership team that I had recently hired, they stepped up even more and really took the reins and allowed me the space in the following year to re-ask that question, who am I, where are we going? I got to travel, I got to link up with friends and things like that. So really like building that team. And I think what helped is when I built that team, I built for the future for the future company. I wasn't hiring to hire for what our business needs were today. I did my aspirational hiring. What I call hire with audacity. So I said, where are we headed? And at that time it was, all right, we're going to be making $100 million a year from the course business in a few years. So we want, a head of operations who has worked for a company that has made that amount of revenue before. We want a director of marketing who has the vision to take us there. So because I hired with the future company, the future vision in mind, the people who came in, they were also there to help us collapse time. They were like, we already seen the future. We already done. Yeah. So we just gonna bring it to you faster. So I think that made the transition a lot easier for me to be able to lean on my team at that time.
So we were texting the other day, we're setting up the interview, and you're like, I'm gonna have my chief of staff send you over the info. And I'm like, oh, skirt. Chief of staff, baby. Amazing. What does it take to run this $20 million? Like, what is this team looking like? Because you said leadership board, like, give us cause these are conversations that people on Instagram think Danielle Leslie is doing the thing. And you are doing the thing, but there's an infrastructure behind you. So for the people who are comparing where they are to where you are that's doing it alone, it's like, no, this is a full-fledged machine. So tell us about the machine.
Absolutely. So what I will say is it's a lean team still, which is amazing. And I will say that I was like, if you are still growing and doing it yourself, I was the only person working in my company up until we crossed the million mark. I remember when we crossed a million, by we, it was like but I crossed a million, the we, and I didn't have even a VA or anything, right? I was running my own ads. I was spending about $30,000 a month on ads at that time and making six figures from them. And then I was doing the customer support emails and doing like the live webinars, right? So it was a really lean because I focused on one product, one webinar, one funnel. Like I kept it super simple so that I could execute it and make it more efficient. So fast forward to today, what I asked myself with building this team is I said, how do I identify in the CEO role? So I didn't like the whole CEO, chief executive officer, that don't resonate with me. Like the executive part, I'm like, when people are like leadership, I'm like, what does that mean? That's not me. So what and because of
That's refreshing to hear, first of all. Can we just I'm sorry to